Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back. I say that every time because, again, I'm just really thankful that you guys come to watch my videos. But just to get straight into it, we're going to be talking about Battlefront 2. We're going to be doing a little review as far as what we can expect in the new Battlefront game. Now, I'm just going to admit right now, I am a little skeptical because we were amped up so hard when Battlefront was going to come out, and then we were sadly disappointed because it did not quite meet the expectations of what we expected it to be. I do believe that this game does have promise with the trailers and some of the information coming out, that I do believe it will at least be better than the original Battlefront, which came out a couple years ago. So with that, let's just go ahead and get straight into it. So first off, one of the things I'm actually looking forward to this is that there's actually going to be a single player campaign, which is what I really wanted in the original one, but we did not get. We got a little side missions, but we didn't actually have a campaign. And so with that, I'm already excited enough just for Battlefront 2, just for the campaign. So just to get into a little bit about what the campaign will be about, as far as I know, it's supposed to start out really fast. That the beginning mission, you're supposed to kind of basically jump into action. You know, some games have it where it's like a little tutorial, a little walkthrough. It starts out kind of slow, but for what I know and for what I hear is that it's supposed to really jump into the action. And the main character you play is Iden Versio, the commander of Imperial Special Forces. So of course, we're playing it from an Imperial side of the game. However, the single-player campaign game is supposed to span over 30 years of the Star Wars timeline. So there actually is, as far as I know, there's 2 confirmed characters. There might be more, but there's 2 confirmed characters that you also play as. One of them being Luke Skywalker and the other one being Kylo Ren. And they've really shown this in the trailers as far as showing them in action and whatnot. So we will be looking forward to that in the campaign, which I, of course, am. And of course, it's buzzing crazy because it was like the big cinematic release of when they saw Emperor Palpatine or Lord Sidious, whatever you want to call him, face appear within this droid. In a past video, I made just a brief mention about how Emperor Palpatine basically made these clones of himself because he knew that one day he could probably die, and that way he could basically transform himself into the clone. So technically, by the storyline now, I don't know if they're going to go with this, but technically by the storyline, Emperor Palpatine is actually still alive because he's in a clone. However, with the storyline that they're going with right now is that Emperor Palpatine basically sent a hologram or a message basically to continue his reign and to continue his orders for what he would want to happen even after he died. And so that's what happened is Iden gets an order from him, and the order is called Operation Sindar. Now, the interesting thing about Emperor Palpatine is that he had orders for everything. He even had an order to kill Darth Vader if he ever chose to basically betray him and get rid of him, which of course we know throughout all the Star Wars series is that the Sith constantly betray each other. And of course there's the rule of 2, which is the rule basically that when you're a Sith and you're training someone in the dark ways of the Force, that eventually that person is supposed to basically take over and basically kill their master, which we saw with Lord Sidious or Emperor Palpatine when he killed his master, Darth Plagueis. So obviously when this game comes out, we'll actually learn a little bit more as far as what his orders are and how it's going to play out. The other interesting thing is that even though he had orders that were after his death, that even a lot of the Empire didn't listen to him because they did what they thought was correct, which may be something that we see with Iden. I mean, maybe not, I don't think so, but just the fact that that's something that happens in Star Wars history, it could be something that happens with the main character that you'll be playing as. So we talked a little bit about the campaign, which of course is something I'm really looking forward to because we haven't seen a campaign in Star Wars in forever. So it really is something that I'm looking forward to. But let's just go ahead and move on to the multiplayer. That of course, campaign's fun, it's gonna be something you're gonna play, but multiplayer is probably what you're gonna be playing most of the time once you actually get the game. So again, like the Battlefront that came out a couple years ago, we were still disappointed because there was a campaign. The multiplayer just wasn't that great. Now again, it's supposed to, based off the trailers and some of the gameplay video I've seen, it does look a little the same. However, there is some new additions that look very promising. That's actually something that I hope will hold up once the game is actually released. I mentioned in a video one time that DICE was on the cover, and of course we all looked at that and thought, oh my goodness, that's amazing, because DICE is the creator of Battlefield, and Battlefield is amazing for their large maps and realism, just everything you can do in it. And I think that was one of the biggest disappointments is because DICE was in it and we did not get what we thought, DICE usually produces. But there was a recent interview from one of the creators from Battlefront 2 that said it will feel a little more like Battlefield. Now, with that being said, I really look forward to it. And there's a little evidence that shows, hey, this is a little bit more like Battlefield. The biggest thing that I am looking forward to is that there's actually going to be classes again. There was classes back in the original Battlefronts, and now they're bringing it back again. And then, of course, classes was a big thing in Battlefield as well. Those classes being Officer, Assault, Heavy, and Specialist. Now, again, this is something also a little bit like Battlefield. And why this is going to be that? One, it's the classes, and two, you're actually going to be able to build up your character, get upgrades to armor, weapons, all that type of stuff. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to, because that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to style my character and really get into detail of what I wanted it to be. And so it seems like that's something that we're going to have this time on Battlefront compared to like Battlefield on how it works there. So that's something that I am really looking forward to as far as the actual multiplayer. And then when it comes to any multiplayer, the vehicles I believe is what makes it really cool, because something like Call of Duty, you really don't get any, spaceships or tanks or anything to really drive around. So that's something I'm really looking forward to, is that there actually is going to be vehicles. And the cool thing is, because this game is about all different eras, so you're going to be able to fly all kinds of different ships. And also a little included added bonus, you're going to be able to ride Tauntauns around. Now, I really don't know how effective that'll be, but I actually get to ride a Tauntaun for once, so that's going to be really cool. Along with the newest trailer to come out, they really were showing the Naboo map, which that's also something really cool, because not only have we had not seen a game mode where it's more of around the Clone Wars and stuff like that, but it shows a little bit more as far as where that's going to be. So one of them is going to be Naboo, and that's going to be really cool, because again, we haven't seen anything like that in a while, and with them showing it off that much, I have a feeling that map's going to be really cool. There's also tons of gameplay videos out right now of that map, so I believe that's going to be like the big main area as far as like the big reveal as far as where it's all going to be on one of the multiplayer maps. And of course, when it comes to multiplayer, we got our classic, like, little different modes. Of course, there's going to be more modes that come out once the game, goes through some time. But some of those modes would be like Skirmish, Galactical Assault, and Starfighter Assault. And they're going to be playable within like 40 players as far as I know. Something else that will be added on to the multiplayer for what I know is that back in the Battlefront, the first one, that you had to like get a card or like find that little token in order to play as like, Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, whoever it might be, but they're not going to have it this time. For what I know is that they're actually going to have it where you basically build up your own point system. So when you get enough points, you can redeem that and be like, play as Darth Maul or Rey or whoever it might be. So that's going to be something that's really cool. So I don't have to skirmish around looking for that token and waiting it for it just to pop up. Along with that, as far as being able to play as a hero or a villain, one thing that you're going to be able to do with that, just like your droids or your soldier, that you're actually going to be able to upgrade your hero character, which is something really cool. And I find that that's actually really interesting, because to be honest, I didn't like playing as the hero or the villain in the original Battlefront. Reason being is like, because it didn't seem like much. It was just a little thing that came here. It was like basically it felt like a power up, and that's something that the developers didn't want. They didn't want it to feel just like, oh, here's a little power up, it's brief, and here you go, it lasts for a minute and then it's done. They wanted it to feel like something that is actually yours, that you actually get to build up your character, to build up the power. So if you're playing as Rey or Darth Maul, the more you play as that character, the more points you can accumulate, and you can actually build up that character, make him more powerful, probably do some upgrades as far as making him look cooler. So that's something that that was a smart move by them, because to be honest, it was cool to play as like Luke in the Battlefront game, but it just didn't feel that great. It just, like you said, it was just like a little brief, like little, hey, here's an added token bonus. And so now you're actually going to be able to kind of like make it your own and be able to build up your Jedi or your Sith or whoever it might be. So that's something that I think was smart by them, and just it really is going to add to the game. Now we've come to the part that is always hard to talk about, the DLCs or downloadable content. So here's the deal as far as how new video games work, is that you buy the game, and then you got to buy the edition of that game, and then buy the next edition to that game. And for Battlefront, that was considered the season pass. Well, EA has hinted, and it seems like they're not going to have a season pass this time, which is good news. They will have DLCs though, but they have said, I'm hoping they keep to their word about this, is that they said that the DLCs, the downloadable content, will be free to all players. And that's what's amazing, is because in the original Battlefront, there was downloadable contents because like Force Awakens came out, so they came out with a map for that, and then they came out with the Death Star. But the thing was, you had to pay money for those maps and all those additional things to add to the game. So they're saying that this time all the downloadable content will be free, which I am so happy about, because I'm tired of putting $120 into a game when the original game was only $60. So that's something that's going to be really cool. And they said that the downloadable content will come by seasons and events. So, meaning that because this game comes around the same time as The Last Jedi movie. So I don't think it will be long after the game was released that downloadable content will come of a map from The Last Jedi. Of course, that movie's not out yet, so we don't know what it could possibly be, but that's going to be something that's awesome, that right after the game's out, not too long, there's probably going to be a new map or something like that that comes out relating to The Last Jedi movie, and it's going to be free. So that's something that's just really cool, and I really appreciate them doing that, because I think that's really cool, because DLCs have gotten a little out of control control as far as I can tell, especially in this day and age, that it's just so much money to put into these games. But since it's going to be free, again, I'm hoping they stick to their word on that, and you know, that's just going to be a nice little added bonus as far as Battlefront 2. So just a reminder for all those Battlefront 2 enthusiasts who are looking forward to the game is released on November 17th of this year, and again, it's going to be around the same time The Last Jedi comes out, so that's just going to be an awesome time of the year to have all those things come out at the same time. I'm going to be feeling the Star Wars vibe for sure, and it's just going to be amazing. But I just want to thank you all for stopping by to watch my video, of course. Giving it a thumbs up is always appreciative. Leave a comment of what you're expecting in this new game. What is it that you're looking forward to? What is it you're questioning? You know, what is it that you possibly can see that's going to be good, going to be bad? You know, let me know. And then also leave a comment, because I want to do more reviews of new games, especially with the recent E3 release of all these trailers. There's tons of trailers. So if there's a game you want to know a little bit more about, leave it in the comments, and I will do my best research and I'll make a video of it, because that's what I love doing. I love doing reviews of movies and games. So leave a comment of what you liked about this video, and maybe something that you want me to do next time. I might do another review as far as Battlefront 2, because we still have some time till it comes out, so I might make another little quick review of some updates of the campaign and the multiplayer. So again, just leave a comment. That helps me out so much, and it always appreciate when you guys give it a like and give it a share. It always helps out so much. But again, just thank you so much for coming by to watch my video, and I will see you guys next time.